शिवशक्तिसमारम्भां भास्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मद्श्रीनाथपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धौघं वटुकत्रयं पदयुगं दूतीक्रमं मण्डलं वीराङ्ग्यष्टचतुष्कषष्ठिनवकं वीरावळी पञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनी मन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम्। श्रीविमर्शानन्दनाथं सत्याम्बासहितं गुरुं हृत्पद्मकर्णिका मध्ये भावयेत् सर्वसिद्धये। श्रीभासुरानन्दनाथाय नमः। श्रीभास्करराय गुरुमण्डलाय नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्।
Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. Let us continue our Soundaryalahari Sadhana. Today we will learn the 63rd and the 64th shloka. We will now first learn to chant 63rd shloka.
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालम्
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं
तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम्
तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम्
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम्
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम्
cakorāṇāmāsīd
चकोराणाम् आसीत्
atirasatayā cañcujaḍimā
अतिरसतया cañcujaḍimā
cakorāṇāmāsīd atirasatayā cañcujaḍimā
चकोराणामासीद् अतिरसतया cañcujaḍimā चकोराणामासीद् अतिरसतया cañcujaḍimā
ataste śītāṃśoः
ataste śītāṃśoः
अमृतलहरीमाम्लरुचयः
अमृतलहरीमाम्लरुचयः
ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ
अतस्ते शीतांशोरमृतलहरीमाम्लरुचयः अतस्ते शीतांशोरमृतलहरीमाम्लरुचयः
पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दं निशिनिशि
पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दं निशिनिशि
भृशं काञ्चिकधिया पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दं निशिनिशि भृशं काञ्चिकधिया
पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दं निशिनिशि भृशं काञ्चिकधिया पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दं निशिनिशि भृशं काञ्चिकधिया. We will now recite all the 4 lines together. स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् चकोराणामासीदतिरसतया cañcujaḍimā अतस्ते शीतांशोरमृतलहरीमाम्लरुचयः पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दं निशिनिशि भृशं काञ्चिकधिया. Once again. स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् चकोराणामासीदतिरसतया cañcujaḍimā ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ cañjikadhiyā. We'll now learn the musical rendition from Priya, Paramesh, Mahinda and Karthik. The music is set to Kalyani Ragam.
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तवा वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम्
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तवा वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम्
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम्
cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā
cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā
cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबताम् cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā
ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ
ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ
ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ
pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā
pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā
pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā
ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā
ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā
ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ निशिनिशि भृशं काञ्जिकधिया ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ cañjikadhiyā
स्मिtajyotsnājālaṃ tava vadanacandrasya pibatāṃ cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā
स्मिtajyotsnājālaṃ tava vadanacandrasya pibatāṃ cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā
स्मिtajyotsnājālaṃ tava vadanacandrasya pibatāṃ cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā स्मिtajyotsnājālaṃ tava vadanacandrasya pibatāṃ cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā cañcujaḍimā ataste śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīmāmlarucayaḥ pibanti svacchandaṃ niśiniśi bhṛśaṃ kāñjikadhiyā.
Let us now look into the meanings. The first line, smitajyotsnājālaṃ tava vadanacandrasya pibatāṃ. Tava, your, vadanacandrasya, face which is like moon. Vadanam means face. Vadanachandrasya, face which is like moon. Your face which is like moon. Smitajyotsnājālaṃ, on which your smile is like a mesh of moonlight. Jyotsna means moonlight. Smita means smile. So the face which is like moon has a smile which is like a mesh of moonlight. Pibatāṃ cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā, having drunk by the chakori birds, rasataya, due to too much sweetness, cañcujaḍimā āsīt. Cañcu means beak. Jadima āsīt, the beak became stiff or numb. So pibatāṃ cakorāṇāmāsīdatirasatayā, meaning having drunk by the chakori birds due to too much of sweetness, cañcujaḍimā āsīt, meaning beak became stiff or numb. Ataha, therefore, ataste has to be broken as ataha te. Ataha, therefore, te, those chakori birds, amlarucayaḥ, looking to taste some sourness, śītāṃśoramṛtalaharīm. Śītāṃśoho, meaning the cool rays of the moonlight. Amṛtalaharīm, they wanted to taste some sourness from the amrita flowing out of the rays of moonlight. Cañjikadhiyā. Cañjikadhiyā means Kanchi is the kanji that we say in Tamil, like a gruel or a porridge, thinking that it is gruel or kanji. Bhṛśaṃ, meaning abundantly. Pibanti, they drink. Niśiniśi, every night. Svacchandaṃ, as much as they want. So let's see the meaning altogether. He says, Hey Devi, your face, which is like moon, on which the smile looks like a mesh of moonlight. Now, looking at this moonlight from your smile, the chakori birds are thinking that there is so much of nectar here. So let us start drinking the nectar out of this moonlight from your face. Now, having drunk too much of the nectar from your smile, too much of sweetness caused numbness or stiffness to their beaks. Therefore, those chakori birds, looking to taste some sourness, they looked at the actual moon from where the amrita was flowing out. Amrita is supposed to be very sweet. It is supposed to be a nectar, but compared with the sweetness that they got from the amrita, from the moon-like face of yours, they found that this moonlight from the moon, it was like a gruel to them. It was like porridge or kanji to them. So they started drinking every night abundantly, as much as they wanted. Now, starting with the crown of Devi, after describing her forehead, eyebrows, eyes, ears, and nose, Adi Shankara now describes her smile in this verse. We already saw in shloka number 37 a reference to chakori birds. Bhagavad-pada said there that the sadhaka should be like a chakori bird meditating on the Shiva Shakti Aikya Rupa in the Vishuddhi Chakra, waiting for nectar from the 16 Chandrakalas to ooze out and drench his thirst and remove the darkness of Ajnana. We saw that these birds always wait all day for the moonlight to come to break their fast and to drink the nectar from the moon rays. Adi Shankara gives a twist to this story in the 63rd shloka. He gives us a reason why chakori birds are always drinking the nectar from moonlight. He says, chakori birds see the beautiful smiling face of Devi and mistaking it to be the moon, they start enjoying the nectar dripping from Devi's face. This nectar is much more delicious and sweeter than what they have had so far, so they drink it so much that their taste buds become numb. They now want to taste something sour and fermented to regain their sense of taste. The poet Adi Shankara says, chakori birds then drink the nectar from the moon, imagining it to be fermented to produce a sour taste. They drink all night long abundantly this nectar from moon, thinking it is cañjikadhiyā, thinking it is kanji, we say in Tamil, or porridge.
It is interesting to note that Devi's face is described as more beautiful than the moon. Normally, to describe a beautiful face, poets compare it with the moon. The only exception is Devi's face. Another reference to a face which is more beautiful than moon's face is in the Ayodhya Kandam of Ramayanam. When Sumantra, the prime minister in the kingdom of Dasharatha, leads Rama into the palace, Rama is described as Chandrakantānanam. Chandrapi Kantam Ananam Yasya, the person whose face is more beautiful than the moon's face. The reason for this can be taken from the Devi Gita. The Devi Gita comes from the last 10 chapters of the 7th skanda of the Devi Bhagavatam. This presents the magnificent dialogue between Himavan and the Divine Mother when she declared that she would take birth in his house as the goddess Parvati. In the Devi Gita, Devi says to Himavan यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भूधरा अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदा वेषान् बिभर्म्यहम्. Whenever dharma reduces and adharma increases, I will take the male form. Rama and Krishna are the male forms of Devi, and this is the reason why their faces are also described as more beautiful than the moon's face.
Lalita Sahasranama has the verse Mandasmita Prabhapura Majjat Kamesha Manasa. The mind of Kamesha is drowned in the fullness of the glory of Devi's sweet smile. Kama means Bindu, which is part of the Kamakala mantra. In 19th shloka, the shloka starting with Mukham Bindum Kritva, Shankara described the Kamakala Dhyanam. In that, one of the dots or Bindu was Devi's face. Just by seeing the smiling face of Devi, Kameshwara's mind is drowned, meaning he has been totally captivated by Devi's smile and he loses his ahamkara or free will. When Kameshwara himself can get drowned in the fullness of the glory of Devi's smile, where are the chakori birds?
The mantra of 5-syllable Para Tripura mantra is concealed in this verse.
We will move on to the next verse, the 64th verse, and let's check out what Adi Shankara wants to say about Devi's face.
Aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇa
Aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇa Aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇa
kathamredanajapā
Kathamredanajapā Kathamredanajapā
Aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathamredanajapā
Aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathamredanajapā Aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathamredanajapā
japāpuṣpacchāyā
japāpuṣpacchāyā japāpuṣpacchāyā
tava janani jihvā jayati sā
tava janani jihvā jayati sā tava janani jihvā jayati sā
japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sā
japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sā japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sā
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ
sphaṭika
drṣadacchacchavimayī
drṣadacchavimayī
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī
sarasvatyā mūrtihi
sarasvatyā mūrtihi
parinamati mānikya vapuṣā
parinamati mānikya vapuṣā
sarasvatyā mūrtih parinamati mānikya vapuṣā
sarasvatyā mūrtih parinamati mānikya vapuṣā sarasvatyā mūrtih parinamati mānikya vapuṣā. We will recite all the 4 lines together. Aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sā yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtih parinamati mānikya vapuṣā. Once again. Aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sā yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha. Let us now listen to Priya and her team and learn to recite the 64th shloka in Kalyani Ragam.
aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā
aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā
japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sa
japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sa
japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sa japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sa
aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sa
aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sa
aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sa aviśrāntaṃ patyurguṇagaṇakathāmreḍanajapā japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati sa
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī
sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha
sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha
sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha
yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः parinamati mānikyavapusha
अविश्रान्तं पत्युर्गुणगणकथामृतनजपा japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati सा yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः परिणमति माणिक्यवपुषा
अविश्रान्तं पत्युर्गुणगणकथामृतनजपा japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati सा yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः परिणमति माणिक्यवपुषा
अविश्रान्तं पत्युर्गुणगणकथामृतनजपा japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati सा yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः परिणमति माणिक्यवपुषा अविश्रान्तं पत्युर्गुणगणकथामृतनजपा japāpuṣpacchāyā tava janani jihvā jayati सा yadagrāsīnāyāḥ sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī sarasvatyā mūrtiः परिणमति माणिक्यवपुषा.
Let us now look into the word by word meaning. Hey Janani. Janani is in the second line. Hey Janani, hey O mother. Jayati, glory to. Tava, sa jihvā, your, that tongue. In the second line, you see all these words from the second line. Tava sa jihvā, your, that tongue. Aviśrāntaṃ, the first word. Aviśrāntaṃ, which constantly talks about gunagana, glories or virtues, katha, stories. Kathamredana has to be broken as katha amredana japa. Katha means stories. Amredana japa means reiterating or repeating like japa. Patyuhu, of your husband. Japāpuṣpa, japāpuṣpacchāyā. Japāpuṣpa means the hibiscus flower. Japāpuṣpacchāyā means shining like the hibiscus flower. Yadagrāsīnāyāḥ. Yadagrāsīnāyāḥ means seated in the front tip of your tongue. Agrāsīnāyāḥ means seated in the front tip. Yat agrāsīnāyāḥ, seated in the front tip of your tongue. Who is seated? Sarasvatyā mūrtihi, that Saraswati. That mūrtihi means body. That Saraswati's body, which is like sphaṭikadṛṣad. Sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī. The word sphaṭikadṛṣadacchacchavimayī has to be split as sphaṭikadṛṣad acchavimayī. Now, sphaṭikadṛṣad means crystal rock. Sphatika means crystal, drishad means rock. A stone, crystal stone. Acchavimayī means pure white color. Parinamati looks like it has changed into parinamam, like it has changed into manikya vapusha. marvelously beautiful red ruby color. So looks like the white crystal stone seems to have changed into a ruby stone. So in this verse, Adi Shankara describes the glory of Devi's tongue. He says her tongue sings the virtues of her husband, Lord Shiva, constantly like japa or repetition of mantras. Because of this japa, her tongue shines like the flower called japāpuṣpacchāyā or red hibiscus. The sound emanating from her mouth are the Vedas and Upanishads. Sarasvati naturally resides in the tip of her tongue. The Vāgdevata Sarasvati is pure white in color. Now, already in 23rd shloka, we saw that Adi Shankara says, "Hey Devi, you were not satisfied with just occupying one half of your husband Shiva, since you seem to have taken over Shiva's other side of the body as well and transformed that side also to your red color." Applying the same logic here, Bhagavatpada says, "Hey Devi, in the tip of your tongue resides Saraswati, the Vāgdevata, the goddess of speech, who is pure white in color. But your tongue that continuously talks about the glory of your husband Lord Shiva is shining red like a hibiscus flower. And this tongue, red tongue, seems to have transformed the pure white crystal like Saraswati to red color like the Manikya gemstone or ruby."
Let us now recall the 16th verse of Soundaryalahari. Kabindranam chetah kamalavana bala taparuchim bhajante ye santah katichid arunameva bhavati virinchi preyasyas tarunatara shringara lahari gabirabhir vedadhati satam ranjana mami. Here, Bhagavatpada described Goddess Saraswati as a dynamic power or Rajoguna. He said in that sloka, those noble souls who are able to meditate on Saraswati in the form of reddish color in the णगणकथ chakra get the power to create the majestic surge of words and poetry with Shringara Rasa. The creators or the poets as well as the poetry created remain ever youthful and have no death. They provide happiness to the readers and listeners that last forever. Adi Shankara now links the same Saraswati in the Rajoguna with the red tongue of Devi in the 64th shloka. The red color signifies both Shringara Rasa and Karuna Rasa because Devi is constantly talking about Shiva, her beloved husband. Saraswati as Vāgdevata, who sits in her tongue, gets the red color, which is the color of love. The Panchadashi mantra has 3 kutas. The first kuta is called Vagbhava Kuta. In Lalita Sahasranama, we have the Nama Srimad Vagbhava Kuteika Swarupa Mukha Pankaja. Devi's lotus-like face is the Vagbhava Kuta, and this is the reason why Saraswati, who is the Vagdevi, the goddess of learning, is meditated in the verses describing Devi's face.
All the 33 crore devatas are supposed to be residing in Devi's tongue. Meditating on her tongue will invoke all the devatas, it is said. We can see Devi's tongue in her form as Kali, where her red tongue, having the color of hibiscus flower, blesses all her devotees. Now, by saying this red tongue is continuously singing the glory of her husband, Lord Shiva, and also mentioning that Vāgdevata Saraswati sits at the tip of this tongue, Adi Shankara seems to be reminding us the story of Mahakali creating a pair of male and female gods, as in the verses 21 and 22 of Pradhanika Rahasyam from Devi Mahatmyam. Neelakantham Raktabahum Shvetangam Chandrashekharam Janayamasa Purusham Mahakali Sitam Striyam Sa Rudra Shankaras Thanu Kaparti Cha Trilochanaha Trayi Vidya Kamadhenu Sastri Bhashakshara Swara. So here Bhāṣāksharasvara is none other than Saraswati herself. Meaning Saraswati along with Shiva, who are both the embodiments of the Sattva Guna, are born out of Mahakali. This is why maybe Adi Shankara brought Lord Shiva's glory and Saraswati sitting at the tip of Devi's tongue together and giving the tongue the red color that we normally see for Mahakali. He wants us to be reminded that the Sattva Guna is being manifested out of Devi's tongue. In this verse, the 9-letter Vak Siddhi Saraswati mantra is concealed. So with this, we conclude today's session. We will continue again tomorrow. Please join us. Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha.
शिवे शिवसुशीतलामृततरङ्गगन्धोल्लसन् नवावरणदेवते नवनवामृतस्यन्दिनी गुरुक्रमपुरस्कृते गुणशरीरनित्योज्ज्वले षडङ्गपरिवारिते कालितयेष पुष्पाञ्जलिः कालितयेष पुष्पाञ्जलिः